Well, the government calls it the special session of Amrit Kal, and the much-awaited session of the parliament is set to begin at 11 a.m. today. The suspense, though, looms over the real agenda, as the opposition calls it, for the entire session, for the entire 5 days. The government convened yesterday an all-party meeting where they listed the agenda, including a special discussion on Parliament's 75 years, starting from the Samvidhan Sabha. This is going to be on the agenda all through today, being day one. Union Parliamentary Affairs Minister Prahlad Joshi thereafter confirmed that a total of 8 bills for now will be on the agenda, will be taken up for consideration over the next 5 days, including the contentious bill on the appointment of CEC and other election commissioners. The government also confirmed that 3 SC/ST bills and 1 bill on senior citizens is also on the cards for this special session. The suspense, though, still remains, and we say this because, remember, the opposition has time and again been pointing out to the formation of the One Nation, One Election panel, the timing of it all, and of course the controversy around the nomenclatures India and Bharat as well. The opposition believes the agenda listed by the government and the discussion in the all-party meeting only seems to suggest it could be a routine Parliament session. There's nothing quite special, so special about this session, is what the government is saying. The ND, on the other hand, is also claiming that the agenda, the legislative agenda so far has been listed out. The government has followed the books. But the opposition continues to claim that the NDA government is hiding the real legislative agenda, and they could throw in some legislative grenades.
सर, स्पेशल सेशन में कि कुछ स्पेशल बिल आने वाला है या वही लेजिस्लेटिव एजेंडा जो गवर्नमेंट ने दिया?
नहीं, ये आज जब हम लोगों को अभी तक नहीं बताया गया।
तो ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग तो डिस्कस करने के लिए होती है, एजेंडा क्या क्या लाने वाले हैं?
कोई ये कुछ नहीं लाए ऑल पार्टी मीटिंग, ये तो लोगों को मूर्ख बना। सब हिडन एजेंडा होगा, आपको देखेंगे।
अगर राजनीति की बात करें, काउंटर अटैक विपक्ष की ओर से भी तैयार है. The INDI bloc has been planning to ring fence the government and in particular the Prime Minister. They've been talking about the 9 issues, 9 मुद्दे जो सोनिया गांधी की ओर से लिखे गए थे in a letter to the Prime Minister. That is being cited by the opposition time and again. Remember, it spoke of several issues ranging from inflation and unemployment to the Adani allegations and in the latest, Anantnag as well.
हमारी तरफ से चर्चा चाहते थे कि कास्ट सेंसस पे सरकार कोई नीति निर्धारण करे. सरकार ये बेरोजगार, महंगाई, ये हमारे चाइना बॉर्डर पे जो चीनी फौजों की जो अतिक्रमण हुए, अदानी साहब के मुद्दे, मणिपुर की हालात, जम्मू कश्मीर की आज की स्थिति, सारे चीज़ों पे सरकार ध्यान दे और जो हमारे जो सांप्रदायिक दंगा जो हो रहे हैं हमारे देश की कोई स्टेटों में, इसके बारे में सरकार संज्ञान में लाए. और हमारे ज़्यादातर जो पार्टियां हैं, विपक्ष, सारे पार्टियां की एक ही मांग थी कि भाई वुमेन्स रिजर्वेशन बिल इस सदन में पारित किया जाए. ये शुभ अवसर पर वुमेन रिजर्वेशन बिल को पारित करके सरकार नए सदन की शुरुआत करे, ये भी मुद्दे रखे गए हैं.
विपक्ष की ओर से एक और मुद्दे की बात की जा रही है. विपक्ष कह रही है कि वुमेन्स रिजर्वेशन बिल भी पास किया जाना चाहिए इन्हीं 5 दिन के समय में. So there seems to be a growing clamor from the opposition, and it's not just the Congress in the CWC meet that strengthened its resolve to ensure that the women's reservation bill sees the light of the day. It's also several constituents of INDI which have backed this demand.
There are many parties who spoke about caste census and reservation. What is your stand on that?
Definitely, since the inception, TDP has always found its pillars to be women empowerment and OBC empowerment. So we have also raised those 2 issues. We want OBC caste census to be done so that better justice is done to the OBC people. Weaker sections have been constantly demanding, but that is something in the hands of the centre. So definitely we want them to look into it. And also women reservation is something which is floating around very strongly. I think it is the time when everyone is coming together, and definitely TDP is going to support women reservation also.
You heard it from the TDP. The BJP, though, since day one has been saying that they've gone by the books. They've not resorted to any illegal means of calling for a special session. And the several NDA constituents in the latest also reiterate that the opposition must look at the session with a constructive approach.
I wouldn't want to speculate on whether it's a routine or a special session. It's a parliament session. Let's look at it positively, constructively, and do something which is in the interest of the nation. As I said, from our party side, we have suggested something about the women's reservation bill. There will be other legislation which the government will also bring. Everything what is done in parliament should be in the interest of the nation.
Well, let's quickly open this up. 11 a.m. onwards, we're going to be tracking the fast news around the special session of the Parliament. But this morning, we have author Anurag Naidu along with Advocate Sanket Yeangi joining us on the broadcast to really take this conversation forward, because a lot of allegations coming in, Mr. Anurag Naidu, from the opposition camp. They say there's nothing quite special about the legislative agenda that so far has been established by the government. They're saying, what about the aspect and the agenda that the government is hiding up its sleeve? So they're quite convinced that there's much more than what has been listed out so far by the government.
Well, I don't see there is a need to draw so much of speculations and try to set narratives. Look at this letter written by Sonia Gandhi, right? She listed out all the points under the sun which India is dealing with, and the government is working. She knows it very well. But the whole point is, if one of the points is discussed among that list, it is an opportunity to grab a score. Tell that, okay, because Madam Gandhi has written letter, Prime Minister has taken up, or the government has taken up. Now, the India Alliance or the opposition has always been telling that government doesn't listen to us. Government हमारी बात सुनती नहीं है. Government Parliament बुलाती नहीं है. तब Parliament बुलाया तो government ने क्यों बुलाया? I really don't understand the sense that they try to peddle narrative. It's okay. I mean, they're so obsessed with elections. And probably one of the primary reasons is maybe they're not prepared, and they are having this fear that if there is elections now, that we're going to get washed away. And I really don't understand why they have to be so fearful if they have really got a strong footing with together.
But Mr. Naidu, क्या ये जरूरी मुद्दे नहीं है? मणिपुर का जो इशू है, क्या वो जरूरी नहीं है? इन्फ्लेशन का जो मुद्दा है, क्या वो जरूरी नहीं है? Aren't these important issues concerning each and every citizen in the country today? A that, B, Mr. Naidu, they're saying, could these bills not have waited till the winter session?
बिल्कुल है. And don't you think this Manipur issue was discussed in the last parliament? There was a demand, there was a growing clamor, and the government listened to the opposition. They called for a debate. There was a discussion, and although there was a brief address by the Prime Minister himself, there was also opportunity given to Mr. Rahul Gandhi. So why do you think that Manipur issue was not being discussed or never discussed in the parliament? It was discussed. Inflation is not something that the parliament has never discussed. Inflation is something that parliament for the last 8 years, 10 years, since after 2014, there's always been a continuous discussion about inflation, and the opposition has all the rights. And the government, to the best of its potential, several of the meetings in and out of the parliament, people like Piyush Goyal has been explaining, Nirmala Sitharaman has been explaining about inflation. So inflation is a is a debate that is ongoing, and the government always welcomes it. The government has never shied away from responding to the problems.
The government has always welcomed a debate on issues that concern the opposition. Mr. Yeangi, you must also welcome the government's intent of wanting a discussion on 75 years of the parliament and its journey in Amrit Kal.
So first of all, let us understand few important aspects of democracy and the democratic principles. The basic principles of democracy, or the foundation stones of democracy, are the trust of the people, transparency, integrity, and accountability. If these things are lacking or missing or evaporating in administration, the government or the party in power would always indulge in hide and seek, or in avoiding transparency, or evade the open discussion about certain things, or avoid discussion prior to the meeting is called or prior to the session is called, or suppression of voice. And Modi government, in my opinion, has the history of perpetuating it and avoiding transparency and accountability and suppressing voice of people and opposition. And this recent development suggests that somehow Modi government is insecure of losing the trust of the people, or insecure about having lost the confidence of the people, or is having the feel of insecurity of losing the power. That is what it appears prima facie that Modi government is involved in something.
But Mr. Yeangi, is it the fear of the BJP which forced the opposition to stage a walkout when the Prime Minister was speaking on the Manipur issue as part of the no confidence debate?
First of all, the question before the parliament and also before the parliament session was called as to why the prime minister was silent, and he did not answer that. When the questions were asked about Adani, Modi speaks about something else. When the questions were asked about Manipur, Mr. Modi speaks something else. That is not an answer. Speaking something or the other than the issue which has been involved or the questions which have been posed is not an answer. It cannot be considered as an answer. It is just a narrative. Or it's avoiding an answer. And people having
appropriate answers, right answers not being given, those questions being dodged by the government. Quick 30 seconds to you, Mr. Naidu. Very interestingly, a reaction from Mr. Hanuman Beniwal yesterday, who said, "हमें चाय नाश्ता करके भेज दिया, एजेंडा की बात नहीं की."
बहुत अच्छा. I was just coming to the same point. You know, there was an all-party meeting called by Mr. Rajnath Singh chair himself, and there's a discussion. चलो भैया नया पार्लियामेंट है, हम लोग को सेशन करना है. तो if you are not aligned, you said कि हमको सेशन करना ही नहीं है, सर नहीं आना है. You attended the all-party meeting. It is an open discussion. You know, people were aligned with the BJP. Like Mr. Patel gave an interview. Mr. Ram Naidu gave an interview. You know, telling that they were a part of the NDA. Mr. Patel's faction in NCP is a part of the NDA. They said that there was a meeting and we have put our demand for the women reservation bill. If women reservation bill is tabled in the parliament, will Mr. Yeangi apologize to the nation, telling that हाँ भैया हमने demand
just like the opposition, Mr. Naidu only wanted a discussion on the Delhi services bill in the last session of the parliament, and they wanted to boycott all other sessions. Let's see whether or not we see a repeat of that situation. This debate is not dying down anytime soon. Gentlemen, thank you for joining us this morning on the Morning News Hour. A quick break with that.